What's up guys, Dr. Joe here from IDPT, and today we got another special episode. We're going to talk to you about that annoying nagging pain on the inside of your elbow, that golfer's elbow. So stay tuned, I got some good content for you today. So golfer's elbow, or medial epicondylitis is the technical term, is an inflammation on the inside of your elbow of your forearm flexors. So the muscles that bring your wrist in like this or bend your elbow are going to attach right to the inside of your elbow, the medial epicondyle, and it's an inflammation here. So the first thing that we want to know is, well, what causes this? Why does this happen? And what doctors will traditionally describe is that you have weakness in your forearm or you have tightness and that you need to stretch or strengthen it. But I'm here to tell you guys that that's a common myth and we're gonna bust that today. What we see almost every time someone comes in the office with golfer's elbow is that they have a V angle of their arm. When I say a V angle, we're talking about the angle in the relationship from the hand to the shoulder. When this happens, you can see that the medial epicondyle, the inside of the elbow, is literally being gapped. And so we're putting so much pressure right on that insertion point, right on the inside of the elbow. So what we need to understand is, well, why does that angle form? And then what can we do to get rid of that? So what causes this arm angle? What causes it is a lack of shoulder external rotation, or the ability of the shoulder to rotate backwards. If we combine that with certain activities that are causing the need for shoulder external rotation, well, then our body takes the point of least resistance and we get that motion compensatory through the elbow. So for example, let's say the activity is a throw. If I have to throw a ball and I need my shoulder to rotate backwards, but it doesn't have the range of motion there, you can see how much I'm torquing the inside of the elbow to get that motion. So the other factor that keeps that elbow as a V angle, yes, we have the missing shoulder rotation causing the torque through here, and then the opposite side of the elbow compresses and squeezes down, and that further puts more force going in towards the inside of the elbow. When we think about a joint is comprised of about 90% fluid. So you can imagine if we're creating that angle and we're getting expansion through the inside of the elbow, then we need to have compression on the opposite side. So that is holding that elbow stuck like this. So what I want to go through today is a typical exercise sequence that we may prescribe a patient here at IDPT who's been dealing for months with that aching right on the inside of the elbow that won't go away no matter how much they try to stretch or strengthen their way out of it. So if you find these exercises helpful, guys, please share this to someone who really needs it. So the first exercise we're going to do is going to address the rib cage, because that's going to address the resting position of the shoulder and the shoulder blade. We're going to do the exact same exercise that we did on our last video addressing tennis elbow. So I'm going to link that video to this episode if you want to watch that. But it's going to be the same exercise because we're just addressing the rib cage. So this next exercise is going to be to help improve that shoulder external range of motion, okay? So the way that we do that is twofold. Number one, by turning on the muscles on the back side of the shoulder. Those muscles are going to pull the shoulder backwards, but also we're going to breathe into our upper back in the space between our shoulder blades. And what that is going to do is help give us more space and access to move into that position. Okay. And all you need with that is a table at about chest height and a mini band. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your elbows on the table and you're going to see the angle is below 90 degrees. So this right here would be 90. I want to be below 90 degrees. Then we're going to put this band around our wrists and we're going to give it a little bit of tension. Okay, from here, I want to round out the space between my shoulder blades without rounding my whole spine. Okay, so from here, I'm going to breathe softly in through my nose and out through my mouth, right into the space between my shoulder blades. I should feel the back of my shoulder burning a bit while getting air between my shoulder blades. For this, I'd like to do 6 to 8 breaths 3 times. All right, so next we're gonna address that compression and that tension through the opposite side of the elbow. All you need is a nice little lacrosse ball. So what I'm gonna do is get right into the meat on the top of the elbow there, and then I'm gonna apply pressure that I can manage, and I'm just gonna massage myself. Typically, I only do this for like 30 seconds to a minute. I don't wanna overdo it, But what it's gonna do is relieve some of the tension that's pushing the elbow into that position. And that actually feels really good. And you can run that all the way down towards the top of the wrist. All right, guys, so we're gonna still keep working on that elbow. So another way that we're gonna do this to untwist the V in the elbow is a crossbody tricep extension. So the first thing that I wanna do is grab the cable, and it should be coming across our body, all right? So I'm gonna use my right hand here. You're gonna take your opposite hand. I want you to literally twist right where your bicep is. I want you to twist that bone in towards you, and you're gonna hold that there the whole time. From here, you're gonna take this cable and you're gonna tricep extension across your body, okay? And the whole time, your hips and knees are bent, and your chest is actually looking down without rounding your back. So you're basically pushing your hips back the whole time. So this left hand is turning this bicep in, and as I extend my elbow straight, I'm turning this palm away from me. That's the rotation. And then as I come back and bend that elbow, that palm is coming back up. So I'm turning, I'm pressing away, and then I'm coming back up. So again, grab my bicep, turn it in towards me, hips back, chest looks down, across your body. And when you do that, this hand here is turning away from me. When I come back up, I'm going to turn the hand closer to look at me again, and then come across. So we're here and here. Typically, I like to do 12 to 15 reps of this, and I'm looking for about 4 sets of this. So you should really feel a burn in your triceps, but you should not feel any pain in your elbow, okay? The biggest focus is on that rotation of the hand, the palm turning that way. Again, repeat this for about 4 sets of 15 reps, and you should feel right away that your elbow feels looser. All right, the final exercise that we're gonna do is continue to address the twist and the rotation at your elbow, but it's also gonna work a little bit lower and get at the hand and the wrist. And in order to do this, we're gonna do a modified side plank, okay? So what I want you to do is keep your knees together and keep your knee down on the ground. And you can see that my knees are bent. From here, I'm gonna put my forearm down, and I wanna make sure that my shoulder is directly in line with my elbow, and I wanna make sure that my elbow is directly in line with my hand. So we have a perfect 90-degree angle here. Next, you're gonna take a towel, and you're gonna support the thumb side of your hand. It's gonna elevate your hand a little bit. That's what I want, okay? From here, keeping your knees down, you're gonna lift your hips up off the ground, and I want you to really focus on pushing the thumb side of your hand down into this towel. You'll actually feel a twist and a rotation at your elbow. That's exactly what we're looking for, okay? The goal is to hold this for at least 30 seconds, 3 times. And from here, I'm working on breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth. And by the way, if that feels like too much pressure on your elbow, what you can do to alleviate that pressure is actually turn your hand out a little bit. That's going to give us the external rotation at the shoulder that we're missing, and it'll just give you a little bit more room, so you should feel less pressure on your elbow. So I'll move the towel here and I'll show you that same exact plank again. All right, guys, so to summarize, medial epicondylitis, or golfer's elbow, comes from an inflammation of the muscles on the inside of the elbow. And the reason that happens is lacking shoulder external rotation and having too much compression on the opposite side of the elbow. So the way that we go about fixing this is first addressing the rib cage, which will improve our shoulder position, then working on mobility directly at the shoulder, external rotation, addressing all the impairments at the elbow, and finally getting around the wrist and the hand area to finish us off. So guys, if you found this helpful, as always, please like, share, subscribe. Please comment if you have any questions or if you have any other topics that you'd like to see me debrief. And as always, I'll see you at the next episode.